Good morning, brothers and the occasional sister. Lemon water. Keep the kidneys clean. First thing in the morning, just making my breakfast. I've got a pot of flaxseed and chia seed and rolled oats and strawberries and blueberries, both out of the garden. And over here, we've got some, I think it's called kumba seaweed. Some stinging nettle I cut from outside. I've got some strawberries out of the garden. Pretty much everything actually from there except the seaweed which I bought, which was this one here, kumbu. And one of you told me that if you mix it with your beans, it stops you getting upset, gripey guts or gas. Only if I eat an excessive amount of beans I get that. I've got a pretty tough guts for eating that. Anyway, this breakfast. How you doing? I was just thinking about my ex-girlfriend this morning. I woke up and I've got a few ex-girlfriends. I was thinking about one of my ex-girlfriends. I mean, I'm 60 next month, so you're gonna clock up a few, aren't you, in your lifetime? Never been married. Happily never been married. Not to say that's not a good thing for a lot of people. I know plenty of people are very happy, and well done too. But I was just thinking, you know, guys, if a woman is unhappy, from my experience, you can't make her happy. So if you don't have a girlfriend, make sure your next girlfriend you get with is a happy person, because I was just thinking about this one girlfriend this morning I had, and I took her places, I bought her stuff, took her to restaurants, which I fucking hate going to restaurants, so I like cooking stuff at home, you know, but she wanted to go to restaurants, so I take her to restaurant, I bought her what she needed, I provided her with everything that she wanted, and tried to find her love language, and you know what? Nothing in this world was ever going to make her happy. And I doubt today that she's still happy. So if you've got a woman in your life and she's not happy and you're trying to do everything, take it from old clay. You're banging your head against a brick wall. You're banging your head against a brick wall. Duff, duff, duff. You think you can make them happy, but you just can't. Because they're not happy in themselves. Anyway, here's a question for you. What would you rather have in your life? Positive thinking or no negative thinking? Let that one tick over for a while. I've been contemplating this. When I was a kid, I used to go to Cubs. I loved it, and then I went to Scouts, and it was the best thing in my life, because my dad wasn't really present in my life growing up. And the Cub master, there was two. There was a female and there was a male. And I don't really remember the male that much, because he used to be a bit nerdy and a bit weird, bit strange, but the female was actually really good. You'd kind of think, well, you have a male role master, but actually the female was the one that organised a lot of the stuff. And I remember the male one telling us one time, you've got to be positive all the time, you've got to be positive. And I was thinking, fuck that. I'm having a bad day, I'm not going to be positive. And I said to him there, as a little kid, as 10, little clay, I said to him, I think it's more important just to not be negative. And I was actually pinning that at him, because he was quite negative the way he was enforcing this, you've got to be positive on us. I was kind of having a wee silent dig. I've always been a rebellious little bastard. And he was like, no, you must be positive. And today I still think this is really important, to just not be negative. I don't think you've got to be positive all the time, because I'm not positive. Quite often I'm not positive about stuff. I'm just like, oh yeah, we'll do that. And I get overexcited about stuff. I get anxious about stuff. I get fearful about some stuff. I get very excited is probably my biggest thing. I'm going to keep my excitement trying down a little bit. But I don't think you've got to be positive all the time. I think it's too hard on the system. Sometimes they just chill into it and see how it goes. Oh, we're going hunting. Yeah, well, that's excitement. And that's a different type of positiveness and having a positive outlook. But I think, for me, and I'm only speaking for me, and you guys might have a different story, but I reckon not being negative. Oh, it's raining today. Actually, I'm glad it's raining today, because the garden needs some water on it. Or it's always finding the negative aspect of stuff. I think that's a lot more damaging than having to be positive all the time. Complaining about stuff all the time and talking negatively. And there's an old saying, misery likes company. And you get people that are negative. And there's a guy called Bullshit Bill that lives in my community, and he's always negative about everything. I bought a boat, and he said to me, "Oh, the fasteners will all be rotten in it," because it was an old wooden boat. Let's put you down there for a moment. And everything's always negative. Oh, it'll probably sink. It's an old boat. Instead of going, "Hey, nice boat, mate," people that are like that often gather with other people who are negative, and they reinforce each other's negative beliefs and comments, and they love it. Was it misery likes company? Is that the word? Blueberries. Oh, that's good. That's really good. Today, here, we are making the foundations for my log cabin. Got good bastard Daniel and his wife Cass come up from Christchurch, and we are putting the boxing in, and we're going to concrete it in, and it's going to be like a 4x3 foundation for my log cabin. And eventually I'm actually going to move out of this house here and live in the cabin. That's the idea, because I've always wanted to. I know it sounds silly, eh? Why would you give up a big kitchen? But I'd rather have an outdoor kitchen, and I'd rather have like a smaller space, or a little fireplace for the winter, in the bushes over there. This is good for doing some stuff and entertaining guests and that, but I want to be in a smaller space and maybe give this to someone else or share it with someone else. It's a great kitchen, but I built this kitchen at a time when I had a different diet, and I was going to be doing lots of duck and fish and meat and all that stuff. And now that I've had to change my diet for health reasons, I'm not doing that so much for that. I'm cooking up stuff like this. I'm actually going to use this here as a tea because it's got stinging nettle in it. I got my hemoglobin back the other day, and it was 123, which is low, and that's the way you fix that is by you mix vitamin C with your iron. So it's full of iron and stuff there. Stinging nettle is full of iron, and your vitamin C helps you uptake your hemoglobin. So it's got a bit low, and although I don't feel tired at all, I feel energized. I've been biking every day and having a workout most second days. So when you cook strawberries, they go like strawberry jam. So what I'm going to add to this is amaranth puffs. Really, really nice. This is something I got on special. Look, it was only $8.90. Normally a lot more of that. I go to the health food shops and I look at what's healthy, and a lot of it's not because it's in packets and stuff, but this actually is. I don't generally buy stuff in packets. I eat whole foods, but this here is just amaranth which has been puffed. So the only thing that's been changed is they've heated it, but it's had nothing added to it. And it's sort of like honey puffs, but without the honey. And of course, amaranth is really high in protein. Not that I want too much protein, because the old kidneys have got to process protein. And my creatinine levels were actually a wee bit high too, which means I've either been doing too much muscle work, and that's what your muscles have left over when you've been burning energy, or if you're actually having too much creatine as in your food or as a supplement. I only have a little bit on the days I'm doing real hard labour. But creatine, which a lot of guys use for muscle building, that actually helps the heart contract. It's really important for that, so you do need a little bit of that. Right, how's this going to be now, I wonder? This is a mixture of the puffed. Adds a whole different flavour to it and texture. But the strawberries are just absolutely delicious. Right. That's the stinging nettle. I've got kale on there as well. And we're just going to put that all in there, and we're going to... Oops, sorry guys. Sorry, we just dropped you. Whoopsie, sorry about that. We're doing a snap vlog this morning. That means no editing, straight off the top. Just keeps on rolling. The phone falls down. Got to carry on, can't stop. Haven't got time for sitting down editing. Anyway, that's what's the beauty is the Bro Chick Club is she's rough as guts and easy to do and sustainable. So there we have the leftovers. So I've got a nice tea with strawberry and, most importantly, the juice from the stinging nettle. And in here we've got the kombu and that seaweed, and also the strawberries for sweetness, and the stinging nettle, which you can actually eat the leaf as well. The stinging nettles are diuretics, so it will help clean you as well. Clean the liver. It's toxic. Good for. You also got to make sure you have water with that too, though. Otherwise, you're going to have. It's a diuretic, so you can dry yourself out too much. You want to have some water as well, which is important. And we're going to make a little tea. The leftovers. And we're going to have a little cup and a bowl. Eat our greens like this here. This one's going to go into here. It's been an interesting mixture. I haven't had that one before. Different combination. Quite different. I could just drink the tea out of this cup, couldn't I, and save a cup. That makes more sense. How's that? That is bloody interesting. Wow, that's a new combination. Wow, that's very interesting. Now, if you want to get the best out of your greens, if you're like me and you want to have a high nitric oxide going on in your body, that's why you're eating your greens, or one of the reasons. There's also phytonutrients and lots of other good stuff. But a little bit of the old balsamic vinegar, what it does is it creates a reaction goes on with the greens. It helps your body get the nitrogen from them and break down into a nitrite. That's really important because the crypts of your tongue is where your microbiome is, right from the crypts of your tongue all the way to your asshole. Sorry to sound vulgar, but that's the reality of it. And you've got this microbiome, which is an incredible thing. You've got the nitrogen from the plant, and here we have it here. There's a bit of stinging nettle, and it's got nitrogen in it. You chew it, and when you chew this, it doesn't taste too bad actually. All of that microbiome is mixing with it right down your tract, right down here to your gut. When it gets down a bit further down, mixing with that, nitrogen becomes a nitrite. There your endothelial takes that and turns that to nitric oxide. Boom! Vasodilation. That's right, men. That's what gives you a stiffy. That's what gets the heart working properly. Creates that vasodilation. So not only is your body enjoying the nutrients from this, let's have a strawberry to sweeten the deal up a bit. More importantly, some vitamin C. And that's going to really help. So the reason this morning that I'm eating strawberries with kale, which sounds like a disgusting mixture, is the vitamin C in the strawberries is going to help me, the synthase, or at least the body, make it bioavailable to me so I can get that hemoglobin, because my hemoglobin's a bit low. I seem to be okay with low hemoglobin. When I had a radical prostatectomy 5 years ago and they fucked it up, what happened was I lost 1.5 litres of blood. And my hemoglobin dropped from, it was around 155 and it went right down to 64. Anything below 80 and you've got to have a blood transfusion. And I was to the doctor, I'm fine. And the nurse said to me, I've never seen anybody that low who was conscious, and I'm walking around the ward feeling pretty good. So obviously for some reason my anatomy is a little bit of a lower tolerance. No, I've got a high tolerance to a low hemoglobin. Don't know, it's just the way it rolled. Yeah, that's interesting. Now, one of you, Stephanie, on the Bro Check Club, it is actually a channel for men, but I don't mind the old woman jumping in there, particularly when they've got something interesting, said that this, which is kumba, which you can buy in a packet, which I'll show you, seaweed, just good old seaweed. There's a packet there, okay? If you want to get it. That is from Pacific Harvest. So Pacific Harvest, if you need to get that. Apparently, if you cook that with beans, apparently stops you getting farts, gas. Geez, Stephanie, you take away all the fun, man. Bloke's got to have his fun, doesn't he? I don't know, but it just tastes like seaweed on the beach. I wouldn't say it's that exciting. So I'm going to scoff this and have my breakfast, then go outside and hang out with me mate Daniel, who's here, and carry on with the log cabin this morning. I think he's already up and at it. I stepped until 7 this morning. It's like, oh yeah. My mate Simon invited me for a pig hunt last night, but I was just shattered. And he went out and got a fucking pig. It's always the way, isn't it? I was like, end of the day, just didn't have the energy. Plus it was also, I thought, too hot to go. I thought it was like, way too hot. It was 15 degrees at about 6 o'clock at night. I thought that would be too hot, but he got by fine. I just had no energy left in the tank. I was just buggered. As Clint Eastwood used to say, man's got to know his limitations. And I've learnt to recognise my own limitations because sometimes I push it a bit hard. Anyway, brothers and the occasional sister, just a rant this morning while making my breakfast. I'll show you what my breakfast looks like. That's the kale and seaweed and strawberries there. That's the amaranth and the blueberries and a few strawberries. And the flaxseed ground up. It's pretty stodgy. And of course there's also some rolled oats in there. Breakfast by design. Hey, have a great day. And if you're in a tough place right now and struggling with something, remember what Sir Winston Peters, I wish it was him, Sir Winston Churchill. Why did I say Sir Winston Peters? Are they both, because they're both Sirs? Sir Winston Churchill, not Sir Winston Peters, Sir Winston Churchill, that suffered depression, bad depression, said if you're going through hell, just keep on going. Eventually come out the other side. But if you are going through a tough patch and you're really struggling, I know it's really difficult, and you're trying to reach out for help, and you're not getting the help, because this often happens. People say, well, you reach out and ask for help. If you're not getting it, because that can happen, then there's only one person left to help you, and that's yourself. Kick yourself up the arse. If you're suffering actual depression, kick yourself up the arse. Jump into a cold shower. Even if you're struggling like hell to get out of bed, get yourself in a cold shower and get your body moving. If you can't do the cold shower thing, just go for a walk. And the other thing is, if you've really got bad depression, go for a walk in a place where there's people that you don't know who they are. People that you've never met before, complete strangers, and go and talk to a stranger. Why do I say this? Because there's no emotional connection with that stranger. It's going to give you a chance to get out of your bad thinking, your negative thinking, because depression is a very negative. People that I know that suffer depression talk negatively all the time. I can't do this, and this ain't going to work, and they have a negative outlook. And I'm pretty sure that by talking to strangers when you're in that thing, there's no emotional drain on you. Just go up and you can just lightly talk, even if you're really struggling, and just have a conversation to lighten your burden up a bit. It'll help you get outside yourself. I did this here when I had depression, 25 years ago. I had depression that was induced from drugs. I was suffering terrible hay fever, and the stupid doctor gave me a cortisone injection. It plunged me into a deep, deep depression, a chemically induced depression, and it was the worst feeling I'd ever had in my life. And I'm so glad I had it, because I don't suffer depression, but it gave me empathy and understanding to what depression was. For 3 months, I couldn't even get out of bed. I really struggled. I didn't want to pay my bills. I couldn't find joy in the things I loved every day. Everything looked dark. And some of the wee things that I used to survive that, but I was wanting just out of this life. I just could find no joy. It was just like someone switched everything off that I love, and it was horrible. I can't even remember how horrible it was, but I remember thinking, this is the worst I've ever felt in my life. Every thought felt horrible and had a horrible angle to it. So what I did was, I did exercise. I made myself go for a run, and sometimes, one time I rang up my girlfriend and said I can't get home. I couldn't even walk home. I started running. I was so depressed I couldn't run, and she had to come pick me up. But I kept on trying, and the other thing I did, I would talk to strangers. I felt it really helped me to take myself away from this horrible feeling I was having. It took about 3 months of just until the actual the depression wore off. The good thing about it was I had no hay fever. By God, I would have rather had hay fever than had that. But Yeah, the stupid doctor stuck a cortisone injection inside of my arm and said, this will fix your hay fever. Yeah, it fixed that, but it plunged me into deep depression. So I learned a few tricks about the black dog. And so today when someone tells me that I've got depression, I've got an idea of what it feels like, even though I haven't had it for a long, long time myself. Just a wee thing from my own experience. It's not necessarily going to work for everybody else. It's what worked for me. And as always, in all my videos, these are only my experiences. I'm not necessarily correct. It's just what I've found works for me. You might find something that works better for you. And if you do, share it. Share it in the comment section to a brother that could be helpful. It's a very, very serious disease, depression. It's just like cancer, just like heart disease, just like diabetes. They're all diseases. It's not just something that you're going through. Well, you are going through it. You will keep going through it, but it's something that you're not completely responsible for at that moment. There might have been things leading up to it that created it. From what I understand, it's caused by one of three things: either trauma, the thoughts you have, or the chemicals that you induce, whether it's food, drugs, or alcohol, cigarettes, alcohol, I said that twice, or what you actually ingest, like into your body. Or it could be a mixture of all those three things. But there are tools that you can create for yourself to help you get through it. I got through it, and yeah, I almost didn't get through it, but I just kept on swimming. I didn't give up. Right, gonna chow this down, smashing today. Check on a brother. Lots of love to my bros, and we'll see you in the next Bro Check Club video. And go steady. Okay, see you later.